Welcome to day 4 of the Duffle Sew Along. Today we're making the handles and pockets of your bag. Now let's get started. First up, I'm choosing fabric for my pockets and lining. And I think I like this one. Now my pocket for the other side. And I think I'm happy with it. Now cut your fabric to size. You can find the dimensions in the pattern below. Place them right sides together and then sew along the edge using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now fold your lining around the seam allowance for your faux piping effect. And then repeat all of this for your second pocket. Give your pockets a good press and then sew along the edge using an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Now trim the bottoms and then baste around the open edges of your pockets. And then set them aside for a bit. We are now making your handles. Place the first piece in front of you, right side facing up. On top goes your second piece, right side facing down. Line up the edges and then sew it in place. And then add your third piece, right side facing down. Now take it all over to your sew machine. And now I'm piecing my handles together. Creating 4 strips, each measuring 32 inches. Now I'm taking 2 of my strips and place them right sides together. And then I sew them in place using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then I turn it around and do the same on the other side. And then I repeat all of this for my second handle. And now I'm using a safety pin to turn my handles right side out, just like this. And before giving my handles a press, I make sure to push out the edges by hand. A bit tedious, but super worth it. And of course, I have to do all of this for my second handle. And now I'm top stitching along the edges using an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then I do the same for my second handle. And now I'm installing my pockets. I'm lining up the edges of my ruler with the bottom corners of my panel. And then I make a mark just like this. And now I mark in the middle of my pocket. And then the middle of my panel. And then I'm transferring that central mark just like this. Now I turn over my pocket and line up the raw edge with the line that I've just drawn, making sure all central marks are lining up. And then I sew it in place. And this is my pocket all attached. I've sewn it in place, flipped it over, and then top stitched along the edge, and then along the sides. And now I'm installing my handles. I'm placing it on top of my pocket just like this, making sure my handles neatly cover the side edges of my pocket. And then I clip it in place. Now I'm making a mark half an inch above the top edge of my pocket. And of course on the other side. And now I'm stitching it all in place. Stopping at the mark, turn direction and then go down again. And again on the other side. And then I repeat all of this for my second panel. And that's it. My handles and pockets are all installed. And I'm done with day 4 of the sew along. Now, if you can't wait, you can watch the full tutorial for the duffel right here. And of course, make sure to follow for more.